Welcome to the Rensselaer County Regional Chamber of Commerce's Connect with Careers Week, Spring 2022. I'm Kate Manley, the president of the Chamber and your host for this virtual career exploration series. We'd like to thank our sponsors that make these video series possible: Martin Electric, Mosaic Associates Architects, and WB Games New York. Today, we're pleased to be joined by Claudia Butler, who is the district manager of stations Empire East for Amtrak. Welcome, Claudia.
Thank you very much for having me.
So first, before we start, tell us a little bit about Amtrak.
Well, Amtrak is a passenger rail corporation, and it was initiated in 1971. We just celebrated 50 years, our 50-year anniversary last year. It's exciting. Thank you. We're in the people moving business, and our numbers are starting to go to where they were pre-COVID. So it's very exciting. It's always an exciting place to work. And I've been here almost 30 years, so I love what I do.
That's wonderful. So tell me a little bit about what you do on a daily basis as the district manager for the Empire East.
Okay, great. So no day is the same for me, which is very exciting, and it's one of the things that I like. So I have 20 stations total. I just got 3 new stations, and that will start in July. We're going to have service to Burlington, Vermont. So that is very, very exciting. So I have 5 manned stations, or should I say staffed? Okay. We use a lot of acronyms here at Amtrak, so forgive me.
No problem.
So those 5 stations that I have that are staffed, and then I have, of course, right now 12 others. That would make 17, and then I get 3 more as of July, so that makes 20. So dealing with passengers, dealing with the communities, which I love doing, because the trains go, I have territory that go as far north as Rouse's Point, which is right on the border of Canada. And then I go to Pittsfield, that's east. I go the whole route of the Adirondacks. I don't know if you've ever taken a train, but it's just pretty territory. And of course, our routes along the Hudson River, that view never gets old.
Never gets old. I love that view.
Never gets old. So it's just basically dealing with people, passengers, and employees alike. So we're in the people moving business, and the main thing is to get them to where they need to go safely, first and foremost, and on time.
That's great. The people moving business. I love that. So in the people moving business, what types of skills do you use? Obviously, probably a lot of people skills, but tell us a little bit about some of the skills.
Yes. Communication, empathy. Sometimes we have things that happen when people get upset when they're not, where they don't get to where they need to go on time. Right. You got to be able to adjust very quickly and on the fly, and have alternate modes of transportation for them sometimes when we can't get them there via train. You definitely got to know how to communicate and put yourself in other shoes. So communication is key. Empathy, like I mentioned before, is a good thing to have and a necessary thing to have. And empathy and listening skills. You can hear people, but you got to listen to them, what their needs are.
Absolutely. So I love that.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about your personal pathway? So what was Claudia Butler's journey like to get to this position that she's at now?
Okay. So interestingly enough, I refer to myself as a railroad brat because my dad worked here for 33 years. I went to Marist and graduated from Marist College, which is right in Poughkeepsie. So the train, until I was able to have a vehicle on campus, was my mode of transportation to and from, back and forth to college. So I got to learn a lot about the corporation through talking to others, the conductors, and just research on my own, because most people think that you have ticket agents, or like we refer to them now as customer service representatives, the conductors, like I said, the engineer, but there are several career paths at Amtrak. It's a huge corporation, and we have departments like most folks wouldn't think of, like social media departments, IT. There's several different paths, but my path basically started with living it from my father being an employee
Yeah.
here and just being interested in it. And so I joined and I worked on board. And then I came to the station side of the house and worked my way up to management.
And you said when we had talked previously about when you first started, you worked in the so where our students would be familiar with in the car that has the service, the food and things like that. So you started in that role as
Oh,
well.
yes, yeah. We refer to it as the lounge car or the
Lounge
cafe
car,
car.
cafe
Yeah,
car.
so
That's right.
yes, that's exactly how I started with the corporation as a, we refer to them as a lead service attendant, or the acronym is LSA. And what I enjoyed about it, it gave you independence, and it was like running your own store on wheels.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
So you talk a little bit about some of the career pathways that exist within Amtrak. And I think what's really neat for our students to realize is, so this is right in our own backyard in the city of Rensselaer, but also the city of Rensselaer station is, I think you had said, about the ninth busiest in the country for the stations. So that's really exciting. But if someone wanted to get involved with the people moving business and get involved with Amtrak, what are some of the entry points that you can get involved with, or tracks that you could get involved with to start your career?
Um, well, obviously we have our site online, and you will build yourself a profile. But basically, what's interesting and unique about Amtrak is we think of Amtrak because we're here, but we have several different locations where we go east, west, south, north, Midwest. Um, there are many paths that you can start. You can start here locally as a coach cleaner, and every path that that we have here in Amtrak, you can build up or you can extend out. And what I mean by that is you can start on board and then end up like in stations, or you can start here in Albany Rensselaer and then transfer depending on what the different crafts that you there's so many of them. It's countless, honestly, Kate.
That's really exciting. So we talk a lot about with our students about the importance of transferable skills and what that means, and how do we transfer the skills that we have now to the future of work. What do you see the future of work looking like, and what should students be prepared for?
Oh, that's a very good question, and it's one we've all had to face with COVID, correct? So
Absolutely.
what we have learned here, and we still haven't found our new normalcy, and I think that is going to be an ever-changing thing. It's going to evolve. But what I think is important here is, and what we've learned, we used to have a lot of state workers that would commute back and forth. And so with that being said, with these from home models, I think
Mm,
independence and flexibility are some of the skill sets that people are going to have to possess. Um, because being at home with these different models, you have to also be productive.
yes.
It's not like you're sitting at home on your couch. I mean, we've all had to live it, especially in the beginning of the pandemic. I was able to come in the whole time, but you have to be, I would say, flexibility, thinking outside the box, and a sense of independence, because I think most jobs, you're not going to, and you're going to have to be a team player, because we're not always going to meet in an office conference room, if you will. We're going to have to do a lot of our new normalcy. I've learned to love Teams and Zoom because that's how we've gotten things done and
Yes.
still be able to be productive at what you do. So I think that, and I hope I answered your question, you just have to be productive at whatever you do and thinking outside the box, and just have a different vision, if you will, and be flexible. And I just think that that would encompass it if you're flexible.
That's spot on. I love that answer. So how would you define success?
Success. Personally,
Yes,
for,
personally.
okay, for me, I've always set goals for myself, whether they were small, um, and then as I got older, they become bigger because you have different responsibilities in your life. and your life evolves. So to me, success is reaching those goals, whether they're big or little. And then you just keep pushing and you never settle. So that's how I define success.
I love that. So before we go, what's one last piece of advice for our students you'd like to leave them with?
Um, I would say never give up. Be tenacious in everything you do. And what I've always taught in coaching, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And so don't give up if you fail at something, or not even call it failure. Find your niche because everyone has one, and just keep pushing.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Claudia. Claudia Butler, who is the district manager for Stations Empire East with Amtrak. We appreciate you being here with us today. We also would like to thank our sponsors for this edition, Martin Electric, Mosaic Associates, Architects, and WB Games. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.